Hello friends, welcome to this video. So in this series of videos, we are discussing about various cell organelles. We had already talked about mitochondria, ribosomes, and in this video, we are going to talk about an organelle that is exclusively seen in plants. It is nothing but plastids. So let's get into the structure of plastids. Basically, plastids are organelles that are seen exclusively in plants. So, plastids generally they store some substances. Based on those substances, it can be classified into two types. Okay, plastids are classified into two types based on the substances which is there inside the plastids. So, if the substances are going to be colorless, then the plastids are called as leucoplast. Okay, if the substances are going to be colored, then the plastids are called as chromoplast. Hope you get this point. Now, this colorless substances, so it can be either a carbohydrate. Now the plastids will be referred as amyloplast. Okay, it is referred as amyloplast. If it is going to be a protein, you can call it as a proteinoplast, or you can also call it as an alluroplast. Proteinoplast or alluroplast, in case if the substance which is stored is going to be a protein, or if it is going to be a fat, it is called as elaioplast, or sometimes it is also called as oleosomes. So these are going to be the aspects of terminologies involved in the colorless plastids. Okay, that is the leucoplast. On the other hand, if it is going to be the colored substance, then it is called as a chromoplast. So the chromoplasts tend to have various pigments. The pigment which is responsible for the orange to red color in tomato, the entire range of pigment that we see in plants is all due to the pigment which is present in chromoplast, in which if the colored substance is going to be green, that is chlorophyll. Okay, chlorophyll, which is the major photosynthetic pigment. I repeat again, which is the major photosynthetic pigment, which means that there are also other pigment associated with chlorophyll. Together they perform photosynthesis. This we will see exclusively in some concepts with chapter the photosynthesis. So, chlorophyll and other photosynthetic pigment, I will call it as PP, photosynthetic pigment, then the plastids is called as chloroplast. Okay, in all the other cases, it is referred as simply chromoplast. So, you get this concepts clear. Now, in this discussion, okay, we are pretty much interested in knowing the structure of chloroplast. So, we will be discussing that till further. Now, what is this chloroplast? So, generally, as I said, it is exclusively seen in plants. So, this is going to be the first thing. Okay, and the chloroplast in higher plants is generally, you see a structure like this, which we call it as a lens shaped structure, like this, something like this, lens shaped structure. So, if the question is this is the only structure of chloroplast? The answer is no. In the algae, that is green algae, we call it as chlorophysiae, green algae or chlorophysiae. So, these group of organisms are known to have chloroplast in different shapes, like cup shaped, girdle shaped, spiral shaped. The NCERT 11th standard book, gives the list of those different shapes of chloroplast. Okay, but in general, higher plants, okay, in exception cases, apart from that, generally, the structure of chloroplast is going to be a kind of lens-shaped structure. Now, already in the discussion pertaining to mitochondria, I would have said that in case of an organelle, you have to know whether it is it has got a membrane. If in case it has got a membrane, then whether it is a single membrane or a double membrane structure, right? So with that view, this chloroplast is going to have a double membrane structure. Okay, this is going to have a double membrane structure. So it has got a name, okay, the outer membrane and inner membrane. And if anyone knows the specific name for the inner membrane of mitochondria, okay, if you can recollect, you can mention it in the comment. And what is the speciality of the inner membrane of the mitochondria? But here, okay, it is simply called as the outer membrane and inner membrane. Okay, so this is going to be the outer membrane and this is going to be the inner membrane. Okay, fine. Now, inside we have talked about in mitochondria we gave a name mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so those who haven't watched that video, so kindly get back to those video, you will get all those details what I am telling here. Now here you can call this matrix, there is a jelly like substance, as chloroplast matrix, but you give a special name for this which is called as stroma. Okay, it is called as stroma. So this is one point. And in stroma you will be able to see a disc-like structure. Okay, a disc-like structure. Again, this disc-like structure is a double membrane structure. Okay, I'll draw it here. So this is going to be called as thylakoid. Okay, and this thylakoid has got further the outer membrane and this has got an inner membrane, and you call this space as an intermembrane space. This is with respect to thylakoid. Okay, so this is a thylakoid which I have drawn it, separately there. Now friends, this thylakoid, okay, is arranged, say for example, a pile of 200 such thylakoids. They are arranged, they are stacked one upon the other. Okay, and you call the entire such, the pile of thylakoid as grana. Okay, you call this as grana. And I forgot to mention, there is an lumen which is present in thylakoid. This is what is called as thylakoid lumen. So lumen generally means a space. Okay, if this is going to be a tube, the space which is there inside the tube is what we generally call it as lumen. Okay, right. So a pile up of, okay, a stacking of thylakoid is what is called as grana, which generally has 200 thylakoid. Okay, thylakoid, fine, approximately, okay, 200 thylakoids. And friends, this chloroplast is also supposed to have double-stranded circular DNA. Hope you remember from my mitochondrial discussion, in case if DNA is present, it has to be supported with ribosome, right? So it has got ribosome, which is 70S ribosome, the one that is similar to that of prokaryote. Okay, and friends, I would have mentioned again in mitochondrial discussion that the presence of this, its own DNA and ribosome together makes chloroplast as semi-autonomous organelle. Is together called as semi-autonomous organelle. Okay, this is called as semi-autonomous organelle. Fine. I would have given the reasons why it is called a semi-autonomous organelle. So kindly go back to that video again and then have a clarity. Friends, this is the final structure of a chloroplast. Okay, outer membrane, inner membrane. The inner part is called as matrix. There is stroma, which has got thylakoid, and a stacking of thylakoid is what we refer it as grana, right? And it has got its own double-stranded circular DNA and 70S ribosome. Hope you are comfortable with this. So friends, before I conclude, the basic purpose of this discussing the structure of chloroplast is it play a very important role in photosynthesis. Why it play an important role? Because it has got a pigment called as chlorophyll, right? It has got a pigment called as chlorophyll, a green color photosynthetic pigment called as chlorophyll. Since chlorophyll is present, hence the name chloroplast. That's what we have seen in the introductory slide. Friends, the entire structure that I have discussed here, where do you see chlorophyll? Right? I have given the entire structure. Where do you see chlorophyll? And friends, you see this intermembrane space of the thylakoid is supposed to have the green photosynthetic pigment chlorophyll. Okay. I will call it as PP, photosynthetic pigment. And friends, chlorophyll alone cannot do the job of photosynthesis. It needs the support of other pigments, other photosynthetic pigment like carotenoids, phycobilin, okay, which further consist of phycocyanin, phycoerythrin, phycocyanin. So all these mix of these pigments is what we generally refer as photosynthetic pigment. The one pigment which play an important role in photosynthesis, in which the chloroplast is a major pigment. So they are together seen in the intermembrane space, right? So this is the structure of chloroplast. Hope you get these points. You have a clarity with respect to the structure. So in case of any doubts as usual, so please do mention it in the comment section. So give a feedback. How do you understand these concepts? And in another video, we will meet again with another interesting concept, right? Thank you.